What are you, deaf? Don't try that Halloween shit with me.
Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We made it. We're here ready for Battle World Tuesday nights. Killings with me, Coriander, and Eric, of course. And guys, tonight is a special one. This one is a special one. I'm really excited to talk about these two movies. And even though they're going head to head, everyone's a winner, as far as I'm concerned. Everyone's a winner. Real quick, just to say hey to everyone in the chat, thank you guys for being here tonight. We really appreciate it as we get ourselves going, getting through technical difficulties and so forth. But let's have some fun. So let's get official. And Eric, let's see who we have in corner number 1 tonight for Battle World.
Okay, well, there's been many great vampire hunters in film. You know, starting from Van Helsing, you have the Frog Brothers, and if you want, you can even throw old Peter Vincent in there. But how do you go from great to badass? Well, you make the hunter a martial artist. You give him some high-tech weaponry. You give him all the powers of a vampire, but none of their weaknesses. You know, when a young upstart of the Vampire Council attempts to bring forth the Blood God, this person, along with his grumpy but lovable surrogate father, do what they need to do to stop it. In my opinion, this is a character that's kind of been forgotten in the comic book world, but this man here crawled so the X-Men and Spider-Man could walk and the MCU could run. This is the Daywalker known as Blade.
All right. Very, very cool. And Coriander, who do we have in our second corner tonight?
All right, so sometimes life isn't fair, but if you're given the chance to come back and right these wrongs, don't be surprised if you're guided by a mysterious bird. Villains can be top dollar, but they won't stand a chance against you. A young talent was taken from us, but this movie truly shows that true love can endure because we know that it can't rain all the time. Here's the late Brandon Lee in The Crow.
Very good.
All right. Let's go to Kill's commentary, man. I mean, these two movies are special movies, man. What do you think?
Dude, it feels like I'm going through a time machine and I'm rocking out, listening to great soundtracks from both these movies. This is the battle of the 90s here, man. You know?
Yeah.
This is going to be a good one. I mean, Eric Draven, The Crow versus the Daywalker, Blade. Man, let's no further ado. Let's just get at it, man. I'm ready.
Yeah. No, I agree. This is definitely one of those situations where you have two films with a lot in common, a lot of differences, but both very special in their own right. And yeah, man, I can't wait to do this. But do you hear them come and kill? Do you?
I hear some flapping wings. Are they bats or are they
you
crows?
beat me to the punch. That was good. All right, man. But for you guys in the chat, for you guys watching the replay, sit back, relax as we head into Battle World. Here we go.
You better wake up. The world you live in is just a sugar-coated topping. There is another world beneath it, the real world.
be you, we put you through the window. There ain't no coming back. This is the really real world.
Invincible. I was. I'm not anymore.
Milligrams now. That's getting dangerous. Just do it. Oh, man.
Yeah, buddy.
There we go, man.
Nice.
Right?
Oh man, these movies are all right. For you guys in the chat, a blanket hello to all you guys. We'll try to get to as many of you as we can. Good to see you all. Danielle, back in the chat. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, hey.
Good to see you. Good to see you. We got Paula
Yeah.
and Ben, Super Tenor, our good friend Brandon de Beldam's in the chat. Good to see you too, bro. We got Melissa. Let's see, who else do we have in here? Dawson's in the chat. Good to see you. All right. Russell's here tonight. All right. Katie's in the chat. Good to see you.
Hello.
We got a channel member anniversary for Jack. What's going on?
Awesome.
6 months, man. Very, very cool.
Oh, Willy
Dealing
Winnie.
with, yeah, hope you're feeling better. Dealing with a stomach bug.
Oh.
Eric Draven for the win. Okay. Well, we will see. We will see. Travis is in the chat too. What's going on? Troy, Life, all of you guys. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do. That also helps to support us. Scott and Samuel, and Scott Royston as well. Wow. All right. Good to see all of you. Very cool. Okay. You guys know how we do this thing. We're going to go category by category. We're going to give the point to the film that we think deserves it, not just based on our bias. So that's important. I want to make sure we put that out there. What was that, Coriander?
I'm just laughing at you.
Why?
Because I just kind of am.
Okay.
You're a
All
funny
right.
guy, Knight. That's what it is.
Wow.
You're a funny guy.
Okay. So for you guys in the chat, let us know who gets the point for you as well. We'll try to get to as many of your comments as we can. We won't get to them all, but if you choose to do a super chat, we will make sure we get to your comment and or question, and you can also put that super chat towards points of the film of your choice. So if you do a $1 super chat, it'll be a point that you can give to one of these films if you choose to do so. So Eric, we're starting with the posters. The posters. We've got the poster for Blade, and we also have the poster for The Crow. What do you think, man?
I'm going with The Crow. I like them both because the character is pretty, it's they're both centered right in the middle of the poster. But the reason why I'm going with The Crow is he's Eric Draven. He's far in the background. You know what I mean? You can't really see him, and it's all black, and except for that little bit of light shining on him. So he's really, literally in the spotlight for us all to see. Wesley looks cool as hell, and we got a little bit of Steven Dorff behind him, but the Brandon Lee looks badass in that poster. You know what I mean?
All
Which
right.
isn't taking anything away from Wesley, but
Okay. All right. Okay. Kill. How about you?
I like the coloring in the Blade poster, but I got to go with The Crow. I love the white silhouette that kind of cuts straight down the middle. I love the symmetry of his name at the top. And I agree with Eric. He looks badass. Like whoever he's stalking right there, it's a wrap for you, buddy. It's over. So yeah, I got to go with The Crow on this one.
All right. Okay. Coriander, how about you? Oh,
there she is.
How about you, Coriander?
I am going to go with The Crow. You know, I just like how it looks. It's simple. I like how the other one's red. I do like,
Right.
but yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just like the Crow better. It just looks better. I'm not saying having a big poster of Wesley Snipes is bad, but I'm all set, so
Okay.
yeah.
All right. In the chat, Paula's going with the Crow. Melissa is going with the Crow. Travis as well. And Scott, thank you for reminding people to hit the like button. We appreciate that. Rebecca's in the chat. Good to see Rebecca saying the Crow is my childhood favorite. Okay. All right. Danielle's going with Blade. Brandon's going with Blade. Russell's going with the Crow. All right. Very, very cool. Um, Black's going with the Crow. Good to have you in the chat, man. Hope you're doing well. For me, this is probably about as easy as it's ever been for posters for me, and I'm going with the Crows. Let me just throw that out there. But I'm going to tell you why. And Kill, you know this better than anyone on this planet. Look, man, I had posters of the Crow, man. I mean, look, hell, man, I probably would still have them, if it was up to me, even though they got a little worn and tattered up and stuff like that. This poster is freaking awesome. It's just so cool. It has so much curiosity and intrigue to it. It looks cool, like you guys said earlier. Brandon Lee is in the background. I love the font, for the title, the crow behind it. I love the way that you've got Brandon Lee at the top. It's just really, really well done. I mean, Blade is a good poster as well. You got that almost, animated type of look to it. I do love the font for Blade. I love the fact that the sword is there. Everything looks good with it, but I just have to go with the Crow on this one. That's just no doubt about that in my mind. Okay, let's go to our next category, Eric. And of course, we're going to talk about the taglines. The taglines for these films. Now, for The Crow, we have the tagline, which is "Believe in Angels." Okay, and then of course for Blade, we have the tagline: "The power of an immortal, the soul of a human, the heart of a hero." Okay, so who gets the point based upon the tagline alone?
They're both kind of generic in my opinion. I'm going to give it to Blade because if we're basing it on just the tagline, we don't know what it means to air quotes believe in angels concerning the Crow. Right. There's a lot of mystery, but the one for Blade, it tells you pretty straightforward, what we're going to get with this character. So I think it works real well with Blade.
All right, Kill. How about you?
Can you go back to the Crow poster real quick? I'm gonna go with the Crow because that white light could be like a heavenly light. Believe in angels, and I don't know. It's just something about it. It's not as wordy. You guys know I'm not a big fan of the wordy ones. Although I agree with Eric. They're both a little generic, but I feel that the tagline for the Crow not only fits perfectly in the white space of the poster, it essentially is Eric Draven, an avenging angel. So
yeah. All right, Coriander, how about you?
So read the Blade one again. Yeah.
The power of an immortal, the soul of a human, the heart of a hero.
See, yeah, they are kind of both generic, but I kind of have to go with Blade on this one, just because, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. And real quick too, in the chat, just to catch up to these guys, we've got a channel member anniversary for a very special person, and that is the General Val.
Oh yeah,
that is awesome. 21. That's just crazy to even say it. 21 months as a channel member.
Damn.
Also
nice.
Such a good friend and helping out, not only being a moderator, but also helping out with mentoring other moderators. So she really does it all. And Val, we hope you're feeling better, and hoping that you can get some better rest tonight, and definitely let let us know how you're doing. But we appreciate you being here, which it just shows your level of connection to us and the family and everything, even though you're not
Yeah.
feeling well. So we appreciate that. And she's saying, what an amazing 21 months it has been. Can't wait to see what you have in store for us this year. I love y'all to the moon and back. Same here. Same here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Val. We really
Mhm.
appreciate you. Seriously. Much love.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, Quentin's going with Blade. Good to have you here, Quentin. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Rebecca is going with The Crow, saying Believe in Angels. She's going with that. Danielle's going with Blade. Blade is the hero. Melissa going with The Crow. Travis is going with Blade. Russell is going with Blade. Paula is going with The Crow. Samuel's going with Blade. And hey, Denisha, good to see you as well. Hope you're doing well. All right. For me, I think, again, these two taglines, they're pretty much par for the course. I will say this is a little bit challenging because you make a good point about the Believe in Angels and the way it's positioned in the poster, but for me, I'm looking at it more just on the words itself. And although it creates curiosity, in the sense of what is this movie about? I mean, as far as I know, this is not City of Angels, and that's not Nicolas Cage. But wow, Eric. But I'm gonna go with Blade on this one because I think that for me, it just gives you the sense, man, you're in for a ride. This is a superhero situation, but there's different aspects to him. Even though it's kind of generic, but the power of an immortal is kind of you got me already. So I'm gonna go with Blade. Okay, let's go. Let's go to our next category, guys. Let's go to the opening of the film, Eric. And as always, the opening is the first couple of minutes. It could be up to 10 minutes or so, depending on the film. What do you think?
Okay, I'm gonna give it to after Blade takes care of business at the club, and then right up to when Eric, right before he puts on the makeup. So that's good for equal amount of time, I think.
Yeah.
They're both really good in different ways, but I'm gonna go with The Crow because of the way it's done. We're starting off right away with the crime scene. Mm-hmm. We're seeing how bad the city has gotten, with the flames in the distance. We're introduced to our villains really early on. We get to see how they operate. Mm-hmm. And then Eric is resurrected within 10 minutes. And I like to see how he's in pain. He's getting these memories. So we get all the info we basically need, plus the narration within 15 minutes, and we're good to go. So I'm going with Crow.
Okay, all right, Kill. How about you?
I love both of these movies, but this is the first easy street of the night for me because I definitely time-stamped certain things. And I agree with Eric on his timestamp. I am going with Blade, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
You have a nice young man. He's with a beautiful girl. Oh, we're going to this party. Oh man, I've gone to like secret parties. This is cool. Oh, is it a meat locker? Is that a body? What the hell? Oh man, all these trendy people dancing, gyrating, sexy. It's fun. And then is that blood? And then the music is just thumping. And then Blade, and then Blade just walks out and starts grinning and murders all of these immortals very quickly. Immortal my ass. They're turning to ash. The heart of an immortal, the brain of these vampires are like paper being burnt. It's just gone. And he really doesn't even say any words. And this is your opening. This is hey Marvel, learn from this. This is them introducing this character. Like, who the hell is this?
Right.
And it was amazing. So, no disrespect to Eric Draven, but if you had been a little bit longer, I might have slided more to that side. But no.
All right. Okay. Coriander, how about you?
I thought we wasn't counting the club scene.
Well, that's the beginning of Blade.
In the beginning. Yeah,
that's right in the beginning.
That's it. That's literally in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Shit. Well. Well, I mean, yeah, you can't.
There's no
It
wrong
has to be
answer.
fucking Blade, you know? Although I
Mm-mm.
love the opening of The Crow. I mean,
Mhm.
I
Me
love
too.
it. But I mean, come on, that club scene was incredible. So
All right.
yeah.
I got to give props to when the DJ like raises his hands and the word
Yeah.
bloodbath is behind
Bloodbath.
it, and then it all
Yeah.
starts pouring. That was
Yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Both of these openings are great, and they're doing two different things, right? Okay, so that let's just throw that out there, and we grade these as what they are. And I think with Blade, like you guys are saying, I mean, what a way to open a film and introducing your hero, because you had no idea what was going on, man. I remember the first time I saw this, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? But I thought it was so creative. We're talking about, when you talk about vampires, bro, I mean, how many vampire movies had there been before Blade? I mean, you're talking about thousands upon thousands upon, it's just crazy. But for them to still do something that was innovative, that was really cool. With The Crow, I think it definitely sets you up, like you were saying, Eric. It gives you the sense of what's going on, the tragedy. It really pulls at your heartstrings a little bit, especially when you have Ernie Hudson as Officer Albrecht, when he's, kind of trying to console Sarah.
Yep.
And it kind of does that slow, slow-mo type of motion when he was kind of holding her. And then, of course, when Eric is resurrected and the pain he feels, even without saying anything, Brandon was doing some fantastic acting. But I got to give the point to Blade. It's got to go to Blade because, again, just so many things going on. They're taking you on this journey. And like you said, Kill, when Blade strolls in there like he's about to get down on the dance floor. All right. That's what he looked like he was about to do. And I just thought it was so well done. And right off the bat, you knew that not only was this going to have some great action, but it was going to be fresh. And you saw that the wide shots of Wesley doing the movements. I mean, he is a martial artist. This is interesting because we have two martial artists in these films, but one chose not to use his martial arts ability on purpose, and the other chose to lean further into his martial arts. Because if you think about before Blade, Wesley in his action movies, Passenger 57, Drop Zone, all that, like he did martial arts, but he wasn't doing all of this.
Right.
He was like doing 3 or 4 different martial arts in Blade. So anyways, but you saw that in the opening, so that's why I got to give the point to Blade. Okay, real quick too in the chat, and hey, we have got a new channel member, guys. Very, very cool.
Oh, but we won't need. That's awesome.
It is. Rebecca is now a channel member, a part of the Watchers. Thank you so much, Rebecca. We really appreciate the support. It really helps us a lot, means a lot, helps us to do these types of streams as we do several times a week. Thank you so much. So now you can join us for, we have exclusive watch parties almost weekly, exclusive live streams, bonus content, hanging out and getting to know each other better as part of this inner circle of the community. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And real quick, let's just play a clip for Rebecca. And, Kill, sometimes when you feel like you want to be happy and you want to dance, sometimes you do a lot of crazy stuff, man. It can get a little crazy. And sometimes you'll be doing stuff like this, bro. What's up, man? Oh my god. Hey, can I just say something? As soon as that clip started to play in the backstage, Kill's like covering his face. He's like, what the hell is going on?
Oh, I've said this time and time again, guys. We don't know what night is gonna play.
Nope.
We don't know where he finds this stuff, but I'm crying over here. So, all right.
The thing is, I was looking down, trying not to pay attention, but the audio was still getting me.
You were trying to not pay attention. That's funny, man.
And then Joaquin Phoenix Gladiator.
I knew you'd like that. Oh man. But seriously, Rebecca, thank you so much for becoming a part of the Watchers. We appreciate that, and definitely for anyone else. And we do have a lot of you guys here tonight. We appreciate it. But if anyone else would like to become a member, all you have to do is hit the join button next to the subscribe button.
Yeah, he'll play that again for everybody.
Well, there's that too. All right, real quick, just to jump to the chat. We got our good buddy, our good friend, our brother Steven in the house
Steven.
from Craven Something Scary. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. And a lot of good stuff happening over on Steven's channel. And Denisha or Julie or Steven, if you're able to, throw the link in. Steven's going to be having a live stream event this Sunday coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we're going to be having a blast, a horror fiesta, trying to find out which Ghostface killer killed his laptop. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Much love, bro. He said, wow. Russell's like, what on earth? I know. You just never know what's going to happen. You never know. We got Bobby in the chat too. Hope you're doing well. Welcome. And thank you guys for welcoming Rebecca too. That's very kind of you.
Yep.
All right. Next category, guys. Let's move on. We're going to music. You knew we would go to this. Okay. So we're talking about the music of both of these films, but we're not talking about music from groups. Okay. We're talking about the music in the movies, but not the music from groups. So you guys know what I'm getting at with that. Okay, Eric, who gets the point?
Oof. See, that makes it really tough because we're basically talking about the score then.
The score. Exactly. Because if we did it by artist, I mean, I think it's look, man, I know myself. There's no way that The Crow would not win that. That's one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. And so many great groups on it. Stone Temple Pilots, The Cure.
Well, but essentially you have an alternative rock soundtrack versus, essentially a techno soundtrack.
True.
And both have really good artists from the 90s in there.
Well, that's true too. That's a good point. But I don't know, man. I wanted this to be a little bit more challenging for us.
Ooh, that is flip of a coin. Then I'm gonna say Blade, just because I think the action score fits more in the scenes, because a lot of times the music for the action in The Crow, a lot of that times goes to the soundtrack with the bands. So I'm going to say it's more memorable in Blade and used better.
Okay. All right. Kill, how about you?
The Crow has one of the best soundtracks ever, but because of the way you cleverly worded that, which was very smart, I'm going to go with Blade on this for pretty much the same reasons Eric said. The music, getting away from the Chemical Brothers and the other bands that are on the Blade soundtrack, just the action pieces and so forth set the tone so well. The more mellow pieces where like Blade is talking to Whistler and the music is just kind of right there, but it's not overpowering. It's just perfect. So yeah, I got to go with Blade on this one.
Okay. All right. Coriander, how about you?
Yeah, like they all said it. You tricked us all with that wording. So
Well, you make it sound like I'm the villain.
you're the villain here, damn it.
Stop it.
So, I mean, I have to go with freaking Blade. So there you go.
You don't have to. Freaking Blade. I think it sound like it's a bad thing.
Because,
About the
Killian said it. It's like one of the best soundtracks. I mean, I had it on disc. So, yeah, man.
You talking about The Crow?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, moving on.
Wow. All right.
You made her sad, Night.
I know. Just relax, man. Relax. They're all winners. No, I think
Are they though?
One thing, of course they are. Of course they are. This isn't going to change my love for either of these movies, no matter who wins.
Okay. All right. Good for you.
So the thing about Kill, what you were saying about how in a lot of the set pieces and things like that. The soundtrack, or the score, I should say, for Blade was really, really cool. I mean, even in scenes like when he was prepping, with the sword and the bullets and the weaponry and all of that, I mean, it was some really, really cool, composition, some pieces in there that were really, really nice. So I definitely got to go with Blade as well. This is it, but that's not to say that The Crow doesn't have a good score, because it does. It
True.
really, really
Mhm.
does. And I think it's a bit close, to be honest, because they're great scenes, like when he first gets back to the apartment and you've got the, kind of the operatic,
Mhm.
all of that. I mean, it's just really good. And even at the end of the film, I love that piece of music, when Shelley comes to the gravesite and
Mhm.
sees Eric there and stuff like that. So it's a beautiful score. It truly is. But the Blade score, I mean, throughout the whole film, and it's just so many different, it's a variety that they have that's just really good. Okay. All right, let's jump to the chat. Troy saying music The Crow with or without the songs. Okay. All right. Rebecca is a fan of Burn by The Cure. That's a great one. It
Mhm.
is. Travis going with Blade. Melissa going with The Crow. Scott Lauderdale going with Blade. All right. And Steven's going with The Crow. All right. Let's see. Rebecca said, oops, talking about the score. I commented before he said score, but still The Crow for me. All right. There you go. We got you. We got you. Okay. Next up, let's go to our next category, guys. And we're going to go into the story, Eric. So who gets the point for story?
Easy street. This is The Crow for me.
Mhm.
Blade is pretty simple, which isn't a bad thing. You know what I mean? They have the whole blood god stuff thrown in there, which is kind of cool than just the usual vampire hunter story. But the fact that this is a character who's resurrected from the dead to, again, just to take a line from the film, put the wrong things right, for his lost love that was taken from him. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That right there, that's just cool as hell to me. And you had some of the mysticism in there with Michael Wincott and Bai Ling and stuff like that, and Tony Todd. There, it makes it even cooler. So going with The
All
Crow.
right. All right. Kill, how about you?
See, this is tough for me, because even though the movie is Blade, we're following India Bush Wright also, as
Mhm.
she's kind of possibly becoming a vampire. So it's kind of like we're getting two stories. Hers, of course, is a little smaller, but she's
Right.
kind of the audience.
Mhm.
Whereas The Crow is, to me, kind of simplistic.
Hmm.
Get away from the whole resurrection thing. Girlfriend
Mhm.
dies, he died, gets resurrected, kill bad guys.
Mhm.
Whereas Blade, yeah, he was born a vampire, but all of the world building, all of the underground, all of the unknown, and the fact that Blade is educating Nia Bush Wright on this,
Mhm.
and us as the audience, I
Right.
slightly have to go with Blade because of all of
Okay.
those complexities of this whole world that's
Hmm.
really, going on, and how they run everything, they control everything, they're wealthy. And then on top of
Mhm.
that, you have Deacon Frost, and he's trying to become a god, and it's all this lore to
Vampire
the
politics.
vampires, vampire politics, the houses, their languages that they
Mhm.
say, and the levels. Oh, I'm a pure blood. I was turned, and I'm a familiar. It's a
Mhm.
lot, So
Mhm.
I slightly got to give it to Blade.
Okay. All right. Coriander, how about you?
Well, I am, a sucker for a good love story, and I have to go with The Crow. I
Okay.
mean, yeah. So there you go.
All right. So based upon strongly based upon the romantic story.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's come
Mhm.
back for revenge. Who doesn't love a
Mhm.
revenge tale, and it's,
Yeah.
true love,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
yeah, man, I mean, I'm a
Okay.
sucker for that shit. So
All
yeah.
right. Okay. All right. Real quick in the chat, let's see. We got Samuel going with The Crow. Rebecca's going with The Crow. Rebecca is holding the torch tonight. That's right. Bobby's going with the Crow, hands down. Scott going with the Crow. Ben going with the Crow. Let's see. Melissa also going with the Crow. All right. Rebecca saying, I'm stumped. Blade on this one. Blade is born a vampire where Eric had everything taken away from him. They both go through a lot. Well said. Well said. Good point. We got Elm Street in the chat. What's up, Elm Street? Good to have you here. Awesome. Steven saying, I respect the mythology of Blade, but The Crow is a great revenge story, and the people he eliminates so deserve it. There you go. For me, this is tough, man. I mean, and I think both movies, look, there's no lying here. Number one, no lying here. I think both movies have great stories, and they're both doing two different types of things. Again, with The Crow, it is a more simple story, but it's done so well, and it has a lot of depth to it. There's a lot of weight to it. It's a heavy movie. I mean, it's one of my favorite movies, but interestingly enough, it's not a movie that I rewatch a lot. I mean, I keep track of it. I've kept track of it over the years, but it's not a movie that if I watched it today, I wouldn't watch it in the next couple of days. I had to give myself some time because it's heavy. But I love that about the film, and it's really well done with the characters. Kill, you made a great point about Blade. The world building that we got in such a short amount of time is very effective. You got a sense of that world pretty quick, and it was through the scene, so it was organic, it was earned, right? Because Blade is teaching all of us, and of course you have Whistler as well, Chris Christopherson, who's fantastic, also giving us some of the background, and it didn't feel like it was just them just talking to us. Well, this happens because that happens, so it's really well done. Some fantastic characters and the hierarchy of villains. But I got to give the point to The Crow. And the reason I'm going to give the point to The Crow is because I think the thing about the film that really, for me, works so well is that it's so relatable, even though we're talking about fantastical things, supernatural things. There's this relationship that he has with Shelley, but there's also a relationship that he has with Sarah, and there's a relationship that Eric Draven has with Albrecht. And it was like that scene in the apartment, that I kid you not, that scene alone can kind of pull at your heartstrings a little bit, because in other words, he found someone that he could confide in a little bit, who knew his story, knew the tragedy. And even at the end, when and Ernie Hudson was great in this too, when he said, you're just going to disappear from me again. He said, no, I thought I'd use your door this time. And the way that Brandon delivered a lot of those lines, just some fantastic stuff. So I gotta edge this out to The Crow. Okay. Real quick too in the chat, just to catch up to these guys. Melissa showing love for Brandon Lee. Absolutely. Travis going with The Crow. Let's see. Russell's also going with The Crow. All right. Next up, the director. Eric, who gets the point for directing?
This is tough because, damn. I'll give it to Alex Porteous for The Crow, and here's why. And the situation notwithstanding, we're taking that out of this category for me.
Yes.
He has a lot of really good shots in this. He brings this great dark gothic feel to this movie. Like, you feel like you're in that dirty, nasty city. Like, Kill has said it a lot of times, sometimes the environment, the city is a character. And you feel that in this. You know what I mean? You feel like you walk outside to pick the paper up, off the lawn, you're gonna get taken out. You know what I mean? You feel the danger. And he does a real good job mixing the drama, the emotion with the badass action scenes. Blade notwithstanding, I love a lot of the action in that movie, a lot of the performances, but I am going to give it to The Crow, especially with like the way he gets his actors to pull on your heartstrings with that drama aspect of it. So I think he got a little bit more with the performances than the director of Blade.
All right. Okay. Kill, how about you? Who gets the point for story? I'm sorry, director.
Yeah, for this one, I'm gonna slightly have to go for The Crow.
Okay.
Sort of what Eric said. The city is another character. The city's name should be Sin City, because there is no sunlight. It's always dark. It's wet. It stinks. Like it makes Gotham City look nice.
Yeah,
And
that's true, man.
And it fits all the characters and all the heinous, evil things they do. And on top of that, the director was able to get a lot of great emotion out of Brandon Lee. And like you said, Knight, earlier, it's a heavy story. It's not a pretty story. And it is sad in many parts and will pull at your heartstrings. And I think the director was able to pull all that together in addition to some great action sequences. So yeah.
All right, well said, man. How about you, Coriander?
Well, I mean, both the movies are really, the both directors did really good. You've got one that used more like, how much CGI was in that? There was a little bit in Blade. Not that that's such a bad thing, but this is a tough one. Because both of them did a great job. But I guess, and both cities looked damn trashy and dingy and screw it. I'm gonna go with the director from The Crow. So
there was sunlight in Blade City, though.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's true. The Daywalker. Okay, so we're going with The Crow. For me, I agree with what Coriander was saying too. I mean, both directors did really well, and I think both cities looked good. They were a character, and I think both directors had some interesting techniques that they used. I think with Stephen Norrington, there were a lot of quick cuts, kind of like this almost frenetic pace to a certain amount of scenes, except for the fighting. And I will say I was so glad that he had the wide shot for the fighting. He wanted to show Wesley, doing what he does, and that was very important. As a martial artist, I appreciated that because that was something that the first thing I wanted to see was how well they were going to do the action part of it. And it's one of the better movies with martial arts in it from the actor who's actually performing those martial arts, and it was various styles. So that was really, really well done. But also, like you guys said, what Alex did with The Crow, it really, like, even when we rewatched it just the other day, I still felt like I was immersed into something that was just so removed. I mean, I know Blade is about vampires and stuff, but just the way that the city was shot in The Crow was just amazing. But beyond all that, I just think that Alex had a lot more balancing he had to do between action and the supernatural element and also the weighty issues of what was going on. This whole idea of a love story done in a way that's like, yes, it was a tragic situation in the beginning of the film, but really the weight of the movie was throughout the movie, and the longing that Eric Draven had for his lost love, Shelley. And like I said, man, when it culminates at the end, bro, I saw this movie in the theater 5 times, and it's never disappointed me to just get you to that point at the end where it's just so heavy and so well done. And it could have gone off the rails easily, is what I'm getting at. So I got to give this point to Alex. Because there was a lot of juggling that he had to do as a director. Okay, real quick too in the chat, Steven saying I got to go with Alex Perez. He directed The Crow extremely well. I connected with the emotion of the movie, and the director has a huge hand in the execution of that. Well said, buddy. Well said. And I definitely agree with that. Russell's going with the Crow. Scott Lauderdale's going with The Crow. Russell's going with The Crow. And let's see, we also have that's right, Ernie Hudson was in The Crow. And we've got a super chat coming in From Ben. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. Very, very cool. Saying this might be a hot take, but I think this year's Crow is going to kick ass. I anticipate it almost as much as Terrified 3 and Maxine. Your thoughts? I'm curious about it. I'm curious. I'm always open to things. I think Bill Skarsgård is a great actor, so I'm sure he's going to be fantastic in it. I have a lot of connections to this version of the movie. That's a story for another time, but I'm open to it. I'm open to see what they do. I hope they do some great stuff, and I'm expecting them to at least try and do that. How about you guys, Eric? Let's start with you. What do you think about this new version of The Crow that's going to be coming out with Bill Skarsgård as Eric Draven?
Well, you know me. I always say remake everything because you might miss out on a good movie if you refuse to see a remake just because it's that.
Right.
This film will still exist no matter how you feel about the remake. I'm very interested. I love Bill Skarsgård. I know a lot of people were not happy with some of the pictures, but you know what? A lot of those same people were not happy with his Pennywise pictures either, and then changed their mind once they saw the movie.
That's
Same
right.
thing with Heath Ledger as the Joker. Come on, it's gonna
Joaquin
be stupid.
Phoenix as the Joker.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So I'm very excited. I think I will be at least entertained. It can't be any worse than 2 through 4 that we already have with The Crow. So I'll leave it at that.
All right, Kill. How about you?
I'm optimistic, but I think the issue with the Crow and the Crow franchise is once we unfortunately lost Brandon, you lost a very. Sometimes you have an actor who may or may not be the best actor, but they're the best for that role. They fit it like a glove.
Mhm.
Brandon was perfect, and you mixed Brandon and his charisma with that soundtrack.
Mhm.
I love Bill, but they need to have a good soundtrack to blend with this. And of course, it doesn't have to be throwbacks to 90s alternative.
Right. Right.
Make it modern, but it has to blend together. And I think that will help it because a lot of people, did not know who Brandon Lee was, unfortunately.
That's right.
When this
That's
came
right.
out. And they may or may not have read the comic or whatever, this and that. But that music connected with a lot of people. It really connected with scenes in that movie and introduced whole new audiences to great bands. So I think if they can get that right and have Bill with the charisma, do his thing, it could be for a whole new generation.
Agreed. Yeah. How about you, Coriander? What do you think?
All I can say is I don't really want to say how I feel till I see it because I just don't know how I feel about it.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, hey Ben, thank you so much for that super chat. We really appreciate it. So let's do a clip for you as well. And Kill, when we were kids, man, I mean, we liked to do a lot of things, and even before we started playing a lot of video games, we kind of were doing the basic stuff, whether it be drawing or even coloring. And when you're coloring, you need a certain tool, man, and this might give you a little bit of a reminder of that.
Purple is the color of many pretty things from a lilac.
Thank you. He's getting close. I'm waiting for him to fall off his chair one of these days. He got close.
I wasn't expecting taser. What in the hell?
Okay. Hey, sometimes stuff happens. Sometimes stuff happens. Okay. Ben, thank you. Gosh, the look on your face is the best. Ben, thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate that. Seriously. Thank you. And let me just catch up. Rebecca was saying, and this is so true. Did you know Iggy Pop was going to be in The Crow? Yes. Yes. And it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I kind of would have wanted to see how that would have worked, but I think it all ended up the way that it should have, Ben was going with Alex. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. And Troy as well. Okay. Thought we were seeing the beginning of a great career with this and The Dark City. Didn't work out that way, though. And to quote Most and quietly, I could feel the city breathing. There you go. All right. Nice. All right, let's go to our next category. We're going to be talking about the supporting characters. So, Eric, that'll be all the characters except for Eric and except for Blade. Except for Eric and Eric. Eric. That's kind of cool.
Ooh, shit. I'm gonna go with Blade. Here's why.
Okay.
No disrespect to the actress who plays Sarah. She does pretty good, and I'm iffy on child actors. Ernie Hudson's always amazing.
Yes.
But I don't know how to pronounce the actress who is tagging along with Blade. I don't know how to pronounce her name because she got that apostrophe in it. The one who plays Karen.
Nia Bush, right?
Okay.
Yes.
She's really good. I like her. She's sassy. She won't take any shit, and she's not afraid to get in the action. And then to top it up, we got Chris Christopherson as Whistler. You know, Stephen Dorff is great, but I would kill for a Chris Christopherson like spinoff with Whistler. He's not in the movie that much. He's like, to me, he's like Anthony Hopkins. He's the most memorable character, and you don't realize he's in the movie for like 10 freaking minutes. You know what I mean? He's tough. He's grumpy, but he will get the job done, and he's got some of the most memorable lines in that movie. And he's just so cool every time. You want more of him. So going with Blade.
All right. Okay, Kill, how about you?
I've been waiting for this question because this. Okay, RoboCop. RoboCop has some of the best villains and the lines, but in a close second is the Crow. And I gotta tell you, these guys are despicable. But just to watch them on Devil's Night and fire it up, you know, they're drinking bullets.
Yep.
They're talking shit to each other. They're pulling out their guns, threatening to kill each other. And then when each of them confront Eric, it's like playing a freaking video game, and they just talk the most stuff. Tintin, hey, let me pull out my blades. I'm gonna cut.
I got two buddies for you.
They never miss.
I mean, like, dude, am I watching? You know, Kurt Vonnegut? Is that what I'm watching?
Clarence Vonnegut.
Clarence Vonnegut?
Right. Yeah.
You know, they all are awesome. And then, of course, my boy. He always plays bad guys. Shouts out to
the Warriors.
The Warriors, yeah, you know.
That's a killer. You need a weasel, you hire him.
Yeah, and then Tony Todd.
Tony Todd, bro.
Tony Todd is in it.
No. Yes.
You know, and then I can never remember the actor's name, but he plays Top Dollar.
Michael Wincock.
Michael Wincock, Bai Ling. And then on top of that, you got Ernie Hudson. No disrespect to Chris Christopherson because he did his thing, but it's just way too many supporting characters, all with memorable lines. You know, I got to go with the Crow. This is easy work here, unfortunately, for me.
All right. Coriander, how about you?
I agree with what Killian said, and I'm going with the Crow.
All right. Okay. Real quick in the chat, Ben was saying, I appreciate all of your thoughts. Yeah, you're welcome, man. That was a good question.
Of course.
Yeah. He said, where do you get this stuff, Knight? I know, man.
I don't really want to know anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, Coriander definitely gets a lot of credit too, man. She watches a lot of funny shit, man. Steven's going with the Crow for supporting characters. All right. Rebecca's singing Fire It Up. Listen, I have to totally, and Kill knows this because, you know, when we were younger, I mean, we used to quote this stuff to each other. Matter of fact, I'd almost would bet money, even within the last, whatever, even couple of years, even though we're not kids anymore, we've probably quoted, you know, some of that stuff from those guys in The Crow. You know, it was memorable stuff. And, you know, even when T-Bird was literally looking at death in the face, you know, what do you want? Speak to me. Speak, you know, and it can't be you, man. This is the dead. You know, it's like, you know, just a lot of great moments, but it's just so many characters. And although I'm going to give this point to the Crow, you know, just to throw that out there. But even though for Blade, you know, there's some great characters in it, some great moments, and Chris Christopherson himself, he pulls a lot of weight. He really does, because absolutely love him so much in this role. I agree, Eric. I wish they could have done something else with him in this role. He's just that type of actor with that type of gravitas, but very simple. I mean, very similar to Michael Wincott, man, because as Top Dollar, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of screen time, but every time he's on screen, it counts, you know.
Yeah.
He's got a
I
presence.
mean, when he talks, man, you know, hell, nothing goes on in this town without my say so. You know, it's like it's just you just zero in on him. So both films have a lot of great supporting characters, but I just think it's a numbers game, and I have to give this point to The Crow. Just some more to The Crow. Okay. All right. And that's right, Ben. There ain't no coming back. There ain't no coming back. That was a badass scene, bro. I'm telling you. Oh, man. Anyways. And they're doing quotes in the chat. That's great. Next up, Eric, the action. The action. Who do you want to give the point to for your favorite action between the two films?
They're both really good. I'm going to give it to The Crow. The reason why is I think there's a there's a better mixture of different type of action in The Crow than there is in Blade. In Blade, it's all nonstop. A lot of it's drawn out. They're big fight scenes. The Crow has big fight scenes, or he also has that one scene with Tintin where it's one-on-one, and it feels more visceral and raw. You know what I mean? I love when Tintin throws the knife and he just bats it away with his hand. You know what I mean? He doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean? So I think the action is used more properly in The Crow instead of just, kick ass, from beginning to end like it is in Blade. So I'm giving it to The Crow.
All right.
Due to the different styles of fights.
Right. Yep. And that's a good point too, because like I said, Brandon Lee intentionally, didn't want to showcase any of his martial arts, which was so different than his other American films, like Showdown in Little Tokyo or Rapid Fire, which we did reference. We did reference that on an old episode of the Brass Tacks. And he was fantastic in those movies, and you could see a lot of skill. He was learning, from people that obviously trained under his father and so forth. So, but he chose not to do that because he didn't want to use that as a leverage for what he was doing in The Crow. And I thought that was very admirable because he could have. Kill. How about you?
I agree with what Eric said. It is two different styles of action. The Crow is very visceral. It's dirty. It feels very gritty. Blade has so many different types of action. There's Blade throwing Nia Bush right to a different building, and then he's jumping from one building. There's car chases. There's gunplay, sword play, throwing batarangs like he's Batman, slicing heads off. I mean, I love the action of both, but I would be remiss if I did not easily give it to Blade. It is very visceral. It is very in your face. It is very just go. And maybe not as gritty as the action in The Crow, but it's just so many variations of action going on, shooting. They both shoot shotguns, both of these guys, but Blade just, he's flipping it around, he's twirling, he's throwing it. It's got a stake on the end of it. It's like, he's shooting stakes into people and then like,
right.
So yeah.
All right. Coriander, how about you?
Jeez.
She's having
if I could give,
Coriander's hurting every time.
I know. You think we never did a Battle World episode?
I know, but I'm trying to be politically correct, and
you don't have to be politically
shit
correct
like that. But we are during Battle World, so I kind of have to be. So I'm gonna have to give this point to Blade because there's just. I'm not saying there's not a lot of action in The Crow. It's just, The Crow is kicking people's ass. I'm not saying Wesley isn't either, but they're like shooting at The Crow and he's healing himself. And not that, Wesley couldn't either. I don't know, because everything I'm saying he can do too.
He
He's
can.
trying.
I just enjoyed, you know, well, I loved watching Brandon do it, but well, shit, since I'm saying that, I'm like kind of changing my own mind. So I
Are you
guess I'm
going
gonna
with
go with the
Blade or are you going with the
crow.
Crow?
I'm gonna go with the crow.
Okay.
Okay. All right. For me, I think that this is it's interesting because they both have great action and it's just totally different. Okay. So let's just call it what it is. It's totally different. One is more stylized and one is more gritty. And I think both have their merit. So the way I'm looking at it, I'm weighing the difficulty of the action. And I'm not even thinking about, although Kill, you made a great point about this. There's a lot of variety in the action of Blade. And with the Crow, there's a lot of ways that Brandon is taking these guys out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not thinking so much about that. But when I talk about the degree of difficulty of the action, I have to give the point to Blade, and I'm going to tell you why. To do those movements that he is doing, okay, there is a lot of training that goes into doing that and to making sure that you do it so it looks good, but you don't hurt your co-stars, okay? And to have Wesley Snipes, who is a fantastic martial artist in his own right, black belt in multiple styles, uh, it was just really refreshing to see that, because up until that point, we had seen, other than like the Van Dams and the Chuck Norrises and the Seagulls and stuff like that, if you had seen an actor that was doing martial arts, it usually was kind of like, it's okay. This was really one of the first times that I saw someone who solidified himself as an actor first, even in dramatic roles, before he even did Blade, but showcased his other talents. So it was just some really cool shit that they were doing. And like you said, Kill, I mean, the gunplay, the weaponry, and this was basically Batman. And it was just interesting stuff. So I got to go with Blade on this one. It to me, it's not that the Crow wasn't great, but to me, it's not close. It has to go to Blade. Okay, all right, real quick in the chat just to catch up with these guys. Scott Lauderdale saying coin toss on the action, going with the Crow. So Crow won the coin toss. Paul is going with the Crow. Troy saying action, the Crow. I liken it to the prequel Saber battles versus the OGs. One has more style, the other much more emotion. Good point. Good point. Let's see. Russell also going with the Crow. Let's see, and we've got another super chat coming in. Thank you so much. We got the Kobe in the chat. Welcome. And by the way, if you guys haven't hit the like button, please do. It definitely helps to support the channel. We'd appreciate it. Saying salute to the panel. Thank you so much. Blade's opening scene, so iconic. Frost is the better villain. Love Wincott. He's awesome. And Snipes is a legend. All right. Very, very cool. We appreciate that. And seriously, thank you for the support. That helps us out so much as well. Okay, so let's do another clip here. And
Brace yourself, Kill.
Are you doing 1-1-1 again?
Well, I'm just 1-1-1. You mean the first one I did?
The first one.
You want to see that one again? Well, look, let's do another one, man. Sometimes you just want to just have some fun and just party. You might have some people that want to join you in it too, and it doesn't even matter what you're saying, man. And sometimes it'll sound like this. All right. Thank you so much, Kobe. We appreciate. What are you doing, man? Kobe, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you, man. Seriously, thank you. All right, we got DJ. We got DJ in the chat. What's up, DJ? Good to see you. Good to see you. Bobby saying Brandon had his own grueling training regimen. Oh yeah, he did. He really, really did. he worked hard for that role, and I totally I admire it. I truly do. Okay, next category, we're gonna go to atmosphere. Atmosphere, Eric. Who we're gonna give the point to?
Oh, I'm giving it to The Crow because, like I kind of said with the director category, you feel the danger in just the city alone. You know what I mean? You if you live in that city, you don't want to go outside your front door. You want to board up the windows. You don't want to look at anybody the wrong way. You know, you
Right.
feel like it's a danger just to walk your dog, and that's pretty much it. 100% The Crow.
All right.
You
Kill.
feel the danger, and it helps the plot, and it helps the villains on how dangerous they are as well.
Well said. Kill, how about you?
I think both movies have good atmosphere. I mean, Blade, he goes to different nightclubs, a Japanese nightclub where they're chilling, doing their thing. The Meat Locker nightclub, rich vampire layers and so forth. Whistler's garage. But I got to go with the Crow here because that city is dirty. The pawn shop is dirty. The bar is dirty. Top Dollar's boardroom is dirty. Everything is just wet, damp, dangerous. Even the police station when Ernie Hudson goes there, it's like, geez, like everything is kind of like, ran down. It's like Detroit in RoboCop.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a good point.
They need OCP to come in. Yeah, I got to go with The Crow on this one.
That's good. All right, Coriander, how about you?
Yeah, I have to go with The Crow also. These guys said it. So, yeah.
All right. I also have to agree. It has to go to The Crow in this, and I think that again, to do what they were able to do, and again, we're talking about 1994. So this is, I mean, other than something like Tim Burton's Batman, and the thing about it, that movie had a lot of backing and a lot of money to create Gotham City. And so, for Alex and the filmmakers to do what they did with The Crow and create that atmosphere that was palpable from the beginning all the way to the very last shot of the film, I just think, it's really well done. And I think that's going to be a big hurdle for the new movie. Can it create that type of, atmosphere? Because even back in '94, when this movie came out, we were taken on a ride. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully the new film can come close to that. All right. Let's see what we got in the chat. Bobby saying, I'll give the atmosphere to Blade. There are too many dangers that are lurking in the shadows. All right. All right. Quentin saying Blade, the ending in the snow. I know, that was so cool, man. That was so cool. Yep. Let's see. Rebecca saying The Crow had a comic book feel, very dark tones, bright colors for the flashbacks. Definitely The Crow. That's a great point too. The flashbacks with the red is very some cool stuff. Cool stuff, no doubt at all. Let's see. Steven saying The Crow wins for atmosphere. All right. Life saying love both characters, but I think The Crow has more of an influence on the culture. I mean, look at Sting's face painting for decades. Need I say more? There you go. There you go. From one great one to another. Okay. Next category, the scarier threat, Eric. The scarier threat. Which Eric, to you, is the scarier threat if you were in a situation where they were coming after you?
Oh God. I'm gonna say Eric Draven is, and here's why. They're both semi-immortal in their own way. They're both, they know hand-to-hand combat, all that jazz. But I think it would be harder to kill Eric because, Blade has a weakness. You know what I mean? You can find a way to kill him. It's just going to take a long time. The only way to kill Eric Draven is to take out the Crow, and you got to be a good shot, with a gun to take out that bird. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go with the Crow.
Okay. Kill, how about you?
So are we talking about the two main characters who is scarier or what they went through?
No, okay. Eric Draven or Blade, who is the scarier threat between the two?
once again, a lot of times when we do this, I kind of go off of the movie, and
yeah,
Bai Ling was able to catch the crow and then like kind of hurt it. No one really was able to do much with Blade. I mean, he's fighting a whole world, of underground vampires that are trying to kill him, the whole world, and not just the city, and all the money and the backing and the political hold that they have. And on top of that, Steven Dorff is trying to become a vampire god. So with that all being said, I think Blade is a scarier threat because he's still running through all of them, and he doesn't have their weaknesses as a vampire. So yeah, I gotta go with Blade.
All right, Coriander, how about you?
I mean, I don't know. I think Blade would be easier to take out than freaking... Yes, because I mean, you can kill a vampire. Eric Draven is like a zombie. Like a zombie vampire, you know, he regenerates. How many times was he shot and it didn't phase him? I'm not saying Blade wouldn't be phased, but no, I think, you know, if they didn't have that Asian girl to figure out, ooh, it's the bird, those guys would have never have known, and bang, bang, boom, you know, it would have been over.
But here's the thing, though. Let me just say this, too, because I know the live chat might be answering this question, too, but we're basing this on what we saw in the movie. So you do know that the crow is his weakness, and with Blade, he has all those weapons. So the question is, when we're doing this...
Even though Blade has all those weapons, I still feel, you know, that he would be, you know, easier to kill than,
Okay, all right. For me, this, you know, both of them obviously have a lot of strengths and limited weaknesses, if at that. But if we're going off of the movies, there's no doubt I think Blade is the tougher threat. You know, he's got weapons, he's got vehicles, he has martial arts. I mean, he's pretty much unlimited, and we do know that the Crow is the weakness of Eric Draven. Eric Draven is fighting, you know, he down and dirty. You know what I'm saying? So if you can manage to, and like you said, kill even you know, the goons got a hold of the Crow and they hurt Eric and so forth. It'd be tough to hurt Blade if I'm dealing with Blade. I don't know how I'm gonna hurt him. You know what I'm saying? Because he can fight,
and he's wearing body armor,
and he's got body armor, so you can't shoot him. You know, he's fast, he can see, he can smell. I mean, it's like this is not even close based upon what we see in the movie. So I want to make sure I put that out there before people say, "Well," so based upon what we see in the movie, there's no doubt that Blade is the tougher threat. Okay, all right. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Scott Lauderdale saying Blade is the scarier threat for me. Okay, Samuel is going with Blade. Rebecca saying, I wouldn't want to meet either one in a dark alley. That's true. You definitely don't. Russell saying Blade is half vampire. Yeah, exactly, right? Steven saying, Eric, he is undead. No, thank you. There you go.
He doesn't need body armor.
It's true. No, it's true. He doesn't. Troy saying, scarier threat, Eric Draven. I feel like Blade could have been killed easily if someone used his own weapons against him. But you got to get his weapons.
Yeah, I don't know about easily.
Yeah. Look, guys, this is coming from a martial artist. Look, he was taking out dozens of vampires, not just men, vampires.
Just in that opening sequence alone, how many vampires do you think he killed in that opening sequence alone?
At least 2 dozen, easily. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. I knew that'd be a fun one. Next category. Favorite quote, Eric. Favorite quote.
They're both good, but the first one that popped up into my head was from The Crow. And it's when Ernie Hudson first sees Eric. And Eric has already killed Tintin. He says, you know, T-Bird, you know, one of his friends shouldn't have played with knives. You like the jacket? You killed Tintin. He was dead long ago. Once she touched her, they're all dead. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah,
That's
a good
badass
one.
and scary at the same time.
Yeah, that is a good one. I like it.
Mhm.
All right, Kill. How about you?
My favorite quote is from Blade, and it's where they have the cop who's a familiar, and he's getting away, and Nia Bush Wright like stops Blade, and he's like, "Look, you need to realize what's going on here.
Yeah.
The world that you know is a sugar-coated
topping.
and you need to learn to pull the trigger."
Trigger.
Good one.
and I love it because he wants her to get like what's really going on, so she'll stay alive longer. But he's also pissed at her because he was about to shoot this cop on broad daylight on the street, and he didn't care.
Right.
So yeah,
right.
Blade for that one.
That's a good one. All right, Coriander. How about you?
So my quote is from The Crow. And it's when that cop was talking to that little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was it in the apartment? Or maybe he was talking to I can't remember who he was talking to. But anyway, he said, people once believed that when someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. And I love that quote because my totem animal is the crow. And I just connected with that. So, yeah, man.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool. For me, there's good quotes all throughout both of these movies. So I really could pick one from either one. And actually, you guys have picked some really good ones. Kill, that's one of my favorite. We used to say that to each other, back in the day. So that's a good one too. But I'm gonna go with The Crow, and I'm gonna kind of pull back as far as the length of the quote to just something that was just very poignant to me. And when Eric saves Sarah from getting hit, with the car, and she was just, again, young actors, it could be a blessing or it could be a curse. And I thought that she was very good in that role. Just seemed like a regular young girl, you know what I mean? And you could tell that she was just dealing with the tragedy of losing two friends. They were friends, and so forth. Anyways, and and she was talking about the rain, and again, Brandon Lee just great in so many moments. And he says, it can't rain all the time, and I think that I just think that was it just meant a lot. It was a lot of weight to it in the moment, but also throughout the movie and what it kind of meant. So I'm going to pick that as my quote because I just think it was really, really cool. And it meant a lot and was very heartfelt, so that's what I'm going to go with. All right. Very cool. Paul is saying The Crow has the best quotes. Yeah. Rebecca going with I have something to give you. I don't want it anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a great one. Great stuff. Nanette saying Blade has some really good quotes too. Yep. Some of motherfuckers always trying to skate uphill. Yeah. Yep. Troy saying I could make a top 10 quote list and Blade would be lucky to have one entry. Wow. Okay. Interesting. And Scott Royston went with Blade for the scarier threat. Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta give it to Blade. They do have a lot of quotes, and again, I'm going to throw it out there. My second pick would have been Whistler when he saves Karen and Blade. He's in the museum. Catch you fuckers at a bad time,
Yeah, that was great. I also love it when she was saying, you care about him, and this and that. He said, we have a good arrangement. He makes the weapons, I use them. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
This guy is all about that business. He was just great in the role. All right, let's go to our next category. Favorite scene, Eric. What do we got?
Okay. Again, first one pops up into my head. It's The Crow, and it's Bye Bye T-Bird. You know what I mean? He's taped into the inside of his car, and he's wondering, he's saying, he's trash talking. We already said it. He's trash talking. And then he realizes who Eric is. And then that trash talk turns to fear. He's quoting, that, I don't know if it's technically a Bible verse or whatever it is. And then Eric hits, the gear, drops the flash grenade. He's going, and what I love is it's a perfect shot behind Brandon Lee, and he just waves with 2 fingers. You know what I mean? He looks so cool. You got that cool explosion intercut with him just making the crow, insignia in the flame, and then he just looked badass walking away with the fire behind him, and then that crow right there on his shoulder.
Yeah, that was a good one. Kill, how about you?
This is an easy one for me. And had my time frame at the beginning of these 2 movies had fit in there, I would have given it to the Crow. My favorite scene is when he punches the mirror and he starts putting the makeup on, because not only is it timed with the music, it's just perfect, and the way that it's cutting between him rubbing the makeup on very frantically and all the memories of his girlfriend and the death and stuff. And then when he starts walking towards that circular window, that Oculus, and
that's why I had to have that in the opening.
Yeah, man. And he's got the crow on his shoulder, and then you see him just briefly, and it's like, oh shit. Hold up. Like, had my time frame of like my cutoff of my mental, like, hey, this is the beginning. Had it gotten to that, I would have went with the Crow for that. But just to see that scene and the music, it's like, damn, this guy is gonna kill some people, and I'm ready to see it. So yeah,
all right,
good choice, dude.
Coriander, how about you?
Okay, so my favorite scene is, when the kid's mother is with that dude in the apartment and they're shooting up. And he comes in and he pretty much, and he pretty much, tells that woman how it is, gets her to become clean and a responsible mom, like she should have been. And I thought that was a great scene.
Yeah.
Good one. Mother is the name of God on the lips of children.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. That was Rebecca's on point tonight, man. She's talking about a good one. Listen, okay, so I'm giving the point to the Crow, and there were some great scenes in Blade, but if I was to list the top 4, my top 2 would still be the Crow. And Kill, you said it right there with the opening, with the music, putting on the makeup. I can't look. It still gave me chills the other day when I was watching it. And I've seen this movie, bro. I've seen this movie hundreds of times. Seriously, it's not even funny, and it still gives you chills. Like when he hit the mirror and it hurt him, he kind of like let out that groan. Like it was just, man. He walks to the window, and the lightning strike gives you just the half a second of seeing him. It's fantastic. But I want to give a shout out. And it's already said in the chat. I think it was Rebecca. The pawn shop scene, man. That was so awesome. Like he's giving out quotes. He's looking weird, he's looking for the wedding ring.
That's my favorite part of the scene, when he's going through the box.
And he gets to the point where he's not even looking. He's going by the feel. You're getting the flashbacks and all of that, and you have one chance to live. And I'm like, yo,
when he's throwing the rings in his face, each of these is a soul.
Yeah,
it's a soul that you've helped.
You've
helped ruin.
Is that gasoline I smell?
Yeah, man, and it was perfect the way he said it, because he was being kind of, playful, but also very intense. And when he just kind of tilts his head back. But let me just also say this too. And obviously, we watch both of these films. And, when I'm doing the intro, I mean, I literally, it's almost like I rewatch both of them again, because I go through. Both of these movies have fantastic scenes, framing of, and especially framings of Blade and of Eric Draven. So I'm just put that out there. But again, back to that scene when he turns a little bit, is that gasoline I smell? And I'm like, it's just great. It's just great. So I got to go with the Crow.
And then that one close up of him firing the gun, and you see the wedding rings, the engagement rings come out.
Yes. Like, who thinks of that?
That's just great attention to detail.
Yes. It was great stuff. Yeah, she was great as Sarah Troy. She really was. Again, when you have a young actress, Yeah, it can go one way or the other, and she was great. She really,
Mhm.
really was. Even still to this day, I think it's a great role and it's very important to the story. Okay, we are down to our final couple as we go into our speed round. Next up, Whistler or Officer Albrecht. What do you think, Eric? Who
If
gets
this
the
is
point?
speed round, I've already pretty much praised him enough as it is. We're going Whistler. No disrespect to Mr. Ernie Hudson.
All right, Kill. How about you?
I'm going with Lucius Fox. I mean Whistler.
There you go. All right. He's such a nerd. Coriander, how about you?
Who the hell are these people?
We're talking about Whistler, played by
Chris
Chris
Christopherson.
Christopherson, and Officer
Oh.
Albrecht, who was Ernie Hudson in The Crow. And she's like, what movies are we talking about?
Not the movies, man.
I know, I'm just playing.
Yeah, I guess Whistler.
You sound so sad at that.
I know. It's like
I'm picturing her like kicking the ground when she has to say it.
I know. For me, man, I definitely got to go with Whistler. And again, I think Chris Christopherson was so good in this role, man. I kid you not. I really wish he could have done more with it, because he was just perfectly cast. It felt like it was just perfect casting. So I'm going to go with Whistler as well. Let me catch up to the chat. And Kay, you got a great point. The scene with the crow in the church at the end when he opens that door, and again, just great framing of different shots in both of these movies. That was a really good scene. Steven saying the pawn shop scene was fantastic. That's right.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Elm Street saying the Cure's song for the makeup scene was so perfect. It was. Yep. It really was. Scott's going with Whistler. Bobby's going with Whistler. Kay is going with Whistler. Nanette saying Whistler gets my vote. Russell's going with Whistler. All right. Very, very cool. And Paula's going with Officer Albrecht. Okay. Awesome. Very cool. Okay. Next up, we've got Deacon Frost or Top Dollar. Who's getting the point, Eric, as the villain? The villain.
Okay. I like Deacon Frost, but Top Dollar scared me because I didn't know there's pretty much nothing he wouldn't do to get the job done. And a lot of it was just for his pure entertainment. He didn't really give a shit sometimes about the money. So I'm going Top Dollar.
All right. Kill, how about you?
I agree with everything that was just said. I like Deacon Frost. I think the scariest part of Deacon Frost was when he had the little girl that he was going to kill in the park. But other than that, I really wasn't scared by Deacon Frost. Top Dollar was unhinged when he's talking to Gideon. He's like, "Oh yeah, so the guy with the bird burnt down your pawn shop. Oh, that's some crazy shit." And then he just like puts the sword through him just cause. And Bai Ling is taking people's eyes and so forth.
Yeah, serving it up for meals.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, that's my sister. Oh, I don't see the resemblance. Okay, I'm gonna put the sword through you." They're unhinged. So I
Top Dollar will shoot Gideon because he's gurgling too loud after he's been stabbed through the throat.
Right.
And plus Michael Wincock just alone with that voice.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I love Steven Dorff, but Steven Dorff, especially in this, kind of looked like a frat boy. It was like, you don't really scare me that much.
Yeah,
Michael Wincock, just when he starts talking, it's like, I don't know about you.
Kier pimp slapped Frost, so that says enough.
It does say a lot, but he can do that though. Coriander, how about you?
I am definitely gonna go Top Dollar.
Okay, all right. For me, you definitely got to go with Top Dollar. I mean, there's no doubt. He had great quotes himself, great moments, and he was definitely a villain. I love those types of villains that get philosophical too, man, especially at the end. He's like, I like your spunk and this and that, and for what it's worth, I am sorry. And I'm like, this guy, he's just great. And
when we're first introduced to him with the he's talking about the present. My dad gave this to me on my 5th birthday. It made no sense. It didn't fit in the movie, but it still brought you in to realize that he's got some stuff to say, and so you want to listen to every word he says.
Yep. Yep. Elm Street going with Frost. Nanette going with Top Dollar. Let's see. Rebecca going with Top Dollar. All right. Kay's going with Top Dollar. All right. Okay.
His
Next
name
up.
is Top Dollar. For
There you
God's
go.
sake.
That's right.
And they
Next
never
up.
called him that, though. But yeah.
They never did. That's right. Eric, who's getting the point? Is it Blade or Eric Draven?
Easy Street, Eric Draven. I'll just say it this way: they're both great characters, both tragic characters, both immortal, badass.
Mhm.
But when I became a regular on Tuesday nights on this channel, we were doing the brass tacks night. Who was my number one movie character of all time?
Eric.
There you go.
Mhm.
End of story.
Yep. Very, very simply put. I dig it. All right. Kill, how about you?
I love them both. They both can be very serious and slightly funny, but I feel Blade is still a little bit too one note for me. I'm gonna go with Eric because Eric, he emotes. Blade doesn't really emote. He's half vampire.
Right.
His emote is like, I thought I was gonna use fire on you this time. Like that's the level of emote. So yeah, Eric Draven.
All right. Coriander, how about you?
Oh yeah, Draven, definitely.
All right. I'm gonna concur with that. It has to go to Eric Draven again, just because of the depth of the character, the motivations, and there was an arc. Like it wasn't easy for him. You know what I mean? And I thought that made the character very compelling. So I got to go with Eric Draven on that. Okay, let's see what we got next. I think we got 2 categories next. Eric, better franchise. The better franchise.
Come on.
Well, both of these franchises have had their moments and a lot of like, ugh.
Okay.
So, but which one gets the point for being the better franchise?
We're going Blade, but Blade had Blade 2 and Blade 3. It is watchable. Okay. It is watchable. Yeah. Say what you will. The Crow had City of Angels, which is watchable. Salvation, which I think is underappreciated. And then we don't talk about Edward Furlong and Danny Trejo in Wicked Prayer. So
no, we don't.
So we'll leave it at that.
All right, Kill, how about you?
Blade. Because I dare say Blade 2 is better than Blade 1.
Right?
Shouts out to Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro. They have a squad of vampires that have been training to kill Blade, and he's like, "Oh, you guys been training all this time, and now I'm here, and I'm your leader." Ooh. Like,
he was. Hey, look, Blade had some fun moments in the second one. They really opened his character.
He emoted in the second one.
He did.
I mean, essentially, they just expanded on that world even more. The third one, we don't talk about that, but I'm sorry, when it comes to the Crow, I don't talk about 2 through 4 at all.
Right.
So yeah, I gotta go with Blade on this one.
All right, Coriander, how about you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I've only seen like the first Crow. Okay. So, and I've seen a couple of the Blades, so I'm gonna have to give it to Blade.
All right. Okay. And for me, this isn't even close. This is not even. It's not even close.
I'm surprised this was a question.
Well, because we had look when Trinity came out, there's a lot of people that they forgot about how good Blade was, and there are some people that aren't big on 2. I've heard that, which is surprising to me because I love 2. But there are people that do appreciate like the second Crow for sure, and like you said, Eric, third one is a little underrated, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, I think both franchises have their ups and downs. So
they both have TV shows too.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Okay, last category, and we're going to move to this super quick. This is the last opportunity for any super chats. If you choose to throw any super chats in, if you'd like to put a point to one of these films after this category, we will not be able to add any more points. So, real quick, guys, simple question. Choose. Eric, who are you going with?
Crow's my favorite movie of all time. There you go.
All right. Kill.
Blade.
Coriander.
I love The Crow.
Okay. For me, it's tough. Both are great films, but if I have to choose one, I have to go with The Crow. I mean, I just have to do that. It is how it is. Okay. All right. So let's do a quick wrap up while I count up these points. This looks really, really close, which is crazy. Eric, let's start with you, and then we'll just head on down the line.
I just stated that The Crow is my favorite movie of all time for many reasons I said tonight. What I was happy about this Battle World tonight is it's two comic book characters or graphic novels, however you want to word it, characters in print that are both overlooked in my opinion. We're not going to talk about it, but The Crow is overlooked for what happened. And Blade is overlooked because of the MCU. Like I said in my introduction, he crawled so the other two could walk, so the MCU could run. If it wasn't for Blade, none of this snowball effect we wouldn't have gotten X-Men. In my opinion, we'd be stuck with like Man-Thing and Howard the Duck and all the other, Marvel stuff that came before it. So tonight was a lot of fun, both different films, but both great in their own ways.
I love both these films. Grew up with both these films. The Blade is heavier, so I don't watch. I mean, I'm sorry, The Crow is heavier, so I don't watch that as much as I do Blade.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this: every time I watch Blade, the first Blade movie, it starts off very strong, but towards the end of it, it gets a little weak for me. Whereas The Crow is pretty strong throughout the whole entire movie. But with that being said, these two movies, I agree with Eric, these movies are both overlooked. And it could be because of the other movies in each of the franchises, especially The Crow. But if you guys haven't watched these in a while, check them out. They are amazing films. So,
get the soundtracks.
Yeah, it's true with both. Coriander, any final thoughts for you?
I love The Crow. Go ahead.
All right. So real quick, we have a final count. We kind of went back and forth on here, but we do have a final count. It did go back and forth, but there is what?
I said, well, I'm a little worried, but either way, I'll be fine.
Well, it did go back and forth for a little while, but we do have a definitive winner, and by a score of 42 to 26, the winner is The Crow.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. It was close for a little while because I had to count that 3 times, man. It was close for a little while, but then there were a couple of categories that sealed it for The Crow. There were a couple of categories where all 4 of us on the panel went for The Crow. All right, and Troy's coming in with a super chat. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Choose The Crow. Okay. All right. Well, The Crow did win, but we do appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you so much. Poor Troy, man. Yeah, send those super chats in quicker, man. But it didn't change it tonight though, because The Crow won anyway. So thank you so much. Yes, Drew, The Crow does it again. Yes. It was close for a little while though. It was close for a little while. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. This was a ton of fun, and these are both really great movies. We recommend both of them. They're fun. I know some of you guys haven't seen either of these 2 movies, or maybe haven't seen them in a while. We recommend it. Next week is going to be fun. We've got a special surprise, and we've got someone that's coming back into Battle World to do what he's got to do. You guys should know who that is. You know who he is, Kill. You know who he is. And if you have been following our episodes, you will know who is ranked number 1. And next week, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Troy coming in again with a super chat saying the choose section was like 8 seconds. Yes, it was quick this time. It was. I'll give you that, man. I'll give you that. All right, guys. But look, seriously, thank you so much. Leave any comments you'd like in the comment section if you guys want to continue the conversation. We couldn't get to everyone, but I know there's a lot of love for both of these movies, and rightly so. Don't forget to hit the like button. We really would appreciate that. And we will catch you guys next time. And as always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out, guys.
Peace.
Up church.